So the objective of this session is to have STU troubleshooting, and I hope you have the STU troubleshooting document, the latest one. And this has been shared to the Rakuten management. In case if you don't get this document, probably Aman, I'll send it to you. You can send this document to
Of course, yeah, we'll do that.
yeah. So I'll the to begin with, I'll go through the documents, and parallelly I will show you the commands which are in the documents using Kiba Lab devices. So basically, this will give you a basic understanding of STU troubleshooting guide. Okay, so let's go one by one. So these are the first troubleshooting steps. So let's say, for example, if the STU is physically powered on, or if it is physically powered down. So what are the checks that should be done? So when you have the power LED, and the power LED is off, that means the STU is down. So what are the recommendations when the power LED is off on the STU? There are two possible options. Either the power cable should be up, or it should be a rectifier problem. So when the power LED is off on the STU, you can check two. One, the power. Second, the rectifier. You can ask the construction team to check these two issues which might cause STU not to power up. Next, the run LED. So what is run LED? So if the run LED is blinking, when if it is blinking more than 5 minutes or every 5 minutes, that means there is some problem in the STU booting. So the STU NSOS doesn't boot and it doesn't complete the booting process. In that scenario, the run LED will blink every now and then. So in order to fix, there are two recommended actions to fix this run LED. Either to power off and power on the STU, or if it is similarly replicated even after doing power on and power off, if it is not coming up, then probably you might need to replace the STU. That's one of the fixes. Next is alarm LED. So this alarm LED, when the alarm LED light is on, then probably it might be a GPS problem, or it might be an external device failure problem. So in case of external device failure problem, there are many issues like rectifier failure, AC input, battery, temperature, alarm, and memory. So there are these many issues which might come, which might have caused the alarm LED. Okay, and there are specific commands to check what are the what would have caused the alarm LEDs. Let me go. Let me show you how to check the alarm LEDs. Um, See, the power LED and the run LED are physical. So you have to look the STU on the physical front, and you have to check the power LED status. Um, the alarm LEDs is also physical, but you can check this via CLI as well. Let me log into the STU. Can execute the command show error LED status. So this is the command to check if the LED alarm LED is on the STU. So this will show you what are the alarms which are present. Either it's an external alarm or a GPS issue or a memory issue, CPU or temperature. Currently, all these alarms are on because there is no temperature, there is no alarms which are generated. If there is an issue, then this will be in on state. the external alarm will be on state, and if there is issue with temperature, it will be in on state. And how do you check whether that particular alarm, there are many sub commands to that alarm. You can check internally. If there is a temperature or an external alarm, you can use this command. So if the external alarm is on, then these many issues would have caused this external alarm status. So the STU will be, supposing, let's say we have a battery problem, then battery will be on. Subsequently, the external alarm will be on. So this way you can recognize what has gone wrong in the STU, and you can ask the particular team to do the fix. Second thing, for temperature, if the temperature alarm is on, you can use show status temperature. Or when the CPU alarm is on, this is the CPU alarm, you can in turn go to CPU load, or you can check the process. This is similar to Cisco, where you can check the CPU process and the load. Second, when the memory, if the memory is on, memory alarm is on, what are the troubleshooting steps? You can check the memory process on the CLI. Thirdly, if the GNS alarm is on, if the GNS alarm is on, then you can use show check the GNS status. So let's say you can use show GNS status. Here, if the GNS is unlocked, that means there is a problem with GPS connected to the STU. So this way, you can verify what are the alarms that are existing and how to find fix, and you can get in touch with the corresponding team to check fix GNS, power, temperature, CPU, and memory.
Generally, all the status should be off, right? The
Yeah,
external show.
this is the normal state. So it should be off. Everything should be off.
Okay, so
And
whenever suppose external alarm is off and when you come below, rectifier failure is on. So in this case, the both should be on or how?
no. In that case, XLR alarm will never be off if if any of this is on.
Okay.
So either if it can be off only if all the alarms are in off state. Even if one of the alarms are in on state, then external alarm will be in on state.
Okay. Okay. Got it.
That's the logic. So next is fault management. So there are many faults which can come on the STU. So how do you check? So user login failed. So this can be an STU can use both local credential as well as TechX credential. So if it is not authenticating, if you are not able to log in, probably you need to check the STU configuration. If you have a backup, you can check the STU configuration. You can check here. This is similar to Cisco. So if TechX is enabled or if local login is removed. The TechX is enabled, then you have to check with the Cisco ICE team to check why your AD is not authenticating. If it is locally enabled, if you're using local password, probably you have to wait 5 minutes of time to unlock the local password. Thereafter, you can log in if it is locked. And that's about. Yes.
Sorry to interrupt. Here I have a question regarding this login. If we are logging through a TACAS credential, okay, means a specific credential. Earlier there were some issue like there were some character limit of the username. So they were failing to log in the STU. So right now it has been correct, or it has been resolved or not?
You mean the username length that you're
Yes,
setting
correct,
on, right?
correct.
That is something which ICE team can confirm, because STU itself does not define the policy of username credentials and what is the password length, username length, everything. So it
But
is being,
earlier it was committed by the dozen team, like that was I think 16 digit earlier. Now they were going to change on the 32 character length.
Kamlesh, hi Akshay. Yeah, it's been resolved in 156, that particular character length. It's now 31.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
then the alarm port down issue. So how do you check if a particular port or interface is down or not? It's similar like Cisco. I don't have to go through. You can use show interface command to check a particular interface is down or not. Show status. So you can see this interface ETH1/1. It is up, and what are the modes? So you can use these two commands. These are simple, just like any other Cisco switch or Juniper switch. And CPU threshold. So this is the command to check the CPU threshold alarms. And memory process. So these are the commands to check show memory and if it is overutilized, to check the alarms. These are already covered in the alarm LED status. So that is being repeated here. And port over threshold. So this port over threshold issue is you can check the data which is flown through the receive and the transmit interface of the particular
For,
STU port.
for threshold point, what is the limits? Threshold limits.
Threshold limits is actually depends on the configuration that you're using. For example, I will get you the exact value of the threshold limits physically, but this is the command to check the threshold limits of each interface. I'll get you the exact specifications to be included in this document. What are the threshold values? Because the threshold values are being discussed now, and I will get the more accurate information once I have it.
You mean by end of the day or sometime later? You will
End of
give?
the end of the end of the.
Thank you.
This is already notified. The limits of the threshold values are to be updated in the document, and I'll get you the correct information. So second is IP conflict. Supposing if there are two STUs, and if you assign the same IP within a network to two STUs, then there will be an IP conflict through DHCP. So how do you check that? You can use show IPv6 DHCP command to check the interface.
But ideally, it should not be like because the IP is getting assigned through a DHCP, right?
It should not be, but in case if you are doing
even in the case also means 1% should not be, because if it is happening, then we'll have to raise to DHCP team why it is happening, why it is getting assigned to two device, right?
yes, but there are it depends on the network configuration of how an IP address system is used.
This Kamlesh, this won't happen. Okay, once in our network, it won't happen. The same device
That's
won't.
why I'm saying. That's why I'm saying it
No,
can
no,
be happen only where we are using some static configuration.
Correct. It won't happen because it's already in the DHCP server, right? So DHCP server will also keep a track of the IP assignment or allocation from its database. So it won't happen. But in case there is a feasibility which is available in STU to check in this way.
Okay.
That is a feature of STU. Whether it's we have to use or not, that is a different story. Just
Correct.
the command is there available in STU. But we don't need it to check it out because our side it's maintained with the DHCP IP. Yeah.
Thank you.
And in case if it is locally assigned, then it will not allow you to configure that IP in the interface command, and that will show you the error. And I think in some networks, it is possible if you are using some based on the UID. So in order to check that issue, you can use show IPv6 JCP command. Then the alarm. This is the temperature over alarm. So supposing for a particular SFP module, if the temperature is going high or if the temperature is going low, you can check the thresholds value. Let's say we have the interface 1. So here it depends on the SFP specification. You can check the transmit power, receive power, and the state on what kind of SFP it is used, what kind of speed it supports, what is the wavelength, and what is the vendor name of the SFP. These details you can check using this command.
Update this command for frontal tower connection. STU to frontal tower connection.
This is STU. No, this can be used for any interface, not only frontal tower.
The power levels are different, right?
Yeah.
That is
I can't use for EH16. There is no other port, but you can use this command for any interface to check it.
And one more question, Vinod. Is there any interface means naming confirmation like where we can identify this interface going to like connect, or this is this interface going to connect local RRH? Is there any naming
you have to
information?
manually configure whatever it is. It depends on you, but there is an interface description. You can configure it.
By default, Kamlesh, these are already by default port allocation coming from factory. So one is for the 5G front haul, 3 is for the 4G front haul, means the 4G uplink towards GC, and 1 is towards the 5G TOR and 4G, and these are the millimeter wave, these are the subset, these are the fixed ones. So these are coming like this. 16, 17, 18, as you know, is a part of FPGA, which is RIU. So it is just for the nomenclature, it shows here this one, because this is not managed by the Sun software. So you cannot see 16, 17, 18 fully there. But apart from that, other ports, what are the ports which are currently in use till date? You can see already these details in the description.
Yes, so this interface is connected to the FPGA link. So this will be always up because it is internally connected as per the architecture between STU and RIU. Prior to this FPGA link, RIU was separate. Once the RIU is embedded in STU, this became an interlink between STU and FPGA. So that's why it will be always up. And we can use this link for any allocation rather than CIPRI. We can use whether you can.
This is also auto allocated, Adishay, like ETS 13.
Yes. These are all allocated ports. You cannot use these ports anywhere else. These usage is fixed.
Okay, but I think as far as I know, we are using the 4G connection for this port 13.
No. You are not
No,
using
03. Yeah, 03 is there.
03 is there. That is uplink. In the up, you can see 4G front haul. That is there. But 13, 14, 15 is for sub 6 and millimeter wave 5, 6, 7. And the 16 port is as Vinod said, right? The port is not that kind of it's connected with the RIU FPGA port basically. Then from somebody needs to log in into RIU and then check the CIPRI power levels of RRH or between RIU and RRH.
So suppose in the case if port 16 is getting down, then we will never get the IP of RIU, correct?
Wait, let's.
Sorry, what is it? No, it is an CIPRI link. What was your question? Could you repeat it? Sorry, I didn't.
The question is that suppose this port we are getting down in the STU login, right? So in that case, we will never get the RIU FPGA up, right?
Yes, definitely. because this connection will be down. Let me get you the logical diagram. I think that will... So you can see this. This is the FPGA link. So if this is down, then the RIU will be disconnected between the STU and RIU.
So the port which you are seeing is the port between FPGA and radio over Ethernet switch, that 16 number port. But you need to see the port FPGA, that 3 ports FPGA getting towards RRH. That you cannot see in Dasan software. That you have to log in into FPGA only. So the port which Dasan is showing is a radio over Ethernet switch 16 number port, which is going towards FPGA.
Okay.
From FPGA towards RRH is that your CPRI port basically. So the port which they are showing is eCPRI port from RIU, which is FPGA, towards radio over Ethernet switch, that one. So that is an internet circuitry basically. So that is why he said that will be always up and nobody can disturb usually that port, because that's a internally circuitry ports.
Okay. Okay.
So whenever anybody has to check the power levels of RRH, they have to log in into RIU inside STU.
Which is not managed by Dasan, it is managed by RTO Star.
So Vinod-san, if you want to check that sector and all, they need to log into RIU, right? And they can check whether sectors power and all those things.
Yes, yes. There are certain commands from STU to do basic checks in RIU. Maybe if you want, I will include that in the command, but it is something which for L1, L2 level, I think it is not necessary. That might create that requires root level access. So I think it's best to avoid.
So basically that Ethernet, which it's going to the RIU, that we need to check whether it is up or not. If it is down, that would be a problem, right?
No, it will be always up. If it is down, if the link is down, probably you have to physically check the STU, because there is an internal cabling, as Akshay said, within the STU. It's not physically visible. There is an internal cabling connecting the RI and STU through the CPRI interface. So you need not worry about it. It will be always up.
Vinod, can you run that show module info on port number 16 just? What will be the output?
Nothing. Nothing.
Because there is no SFP. It's not a physical port there. It's an internal port in STU towards RIU. So you don't need to bother about that port.
I think, let me show you whether check logically. So it is something on the top inside, which is connecting both devices. Yeah, like this. Internally connecting RIU. Maybe I'll show it. I'll see if I can capture something from the R&D. Then I'll show it to you.
So it's something like this. Yeah, this could be better.
Like
Yeah. So if you see on the left top, that is that 4G LTE which is connected from there, but that is the port actually from the RIU. But that RIU is placed inside that STU box.
Yeah, correct.
So
So
that
as
is
per
right.
the design, only one RIU it's connected to the switch, right? No other.
Yes, only one RIU. STU means only one RIU.
This is RIU and this is STU as a complete unit makes STU.
Okay.
So this is a complete unit.
And others are the 5G equipment, like 5G substrates.
Yeah, these are all 5G equipments. This is star, and this is something which is beyond star.
Yeah, this would be the better example, I think. Yeah. Thanks for this.
Can I check build info for port 0/3?
The build info, Narendra, is for entire STU. If you mean to say the NOS, the software version, right?
No, same command for port number 3.
Okay.
It's a module info. Okay. Yes, yes.
Because there is no SSP installed in ETH0/3.
20/1 maybe.
0/1 has SSP that I already.
No, so this is means this is belong to 5G, right?
Yeah, 5G uplink is connected. Yeah.
Got it.
So now which port is connected to frontal tower?
ETH1.
0/1.
0/1.
Okay.
See, Narendra, you can check in the description as well. It's showing front all, or it's going towards your uplink from the
I saw port number 3. That's why.
See here 5G front all. These are ETH0/1. It is connected to your NR tower, which is 5G NR tower front all. And
We
for
have 4G connected to this ST.
This is latest version of the STU, so you can connect 4G as well.
Because
4G
everyone
center
is here working on 4G, so I questioned that.
No, this is Kiba Lab. This has the latest version. I'm not sure. So this can support both 4G and 5G to the fronthaul. So this is 5G fronthaul connection, and ETH3 as Akshay said will be 4G fronthaul connection.
3/3 and 4. Yeah.
And so temperature over alarms is same that I showed, and the voltage over alarm also you can use the same command as the SFP, and voltage and the transmit bias and the receive bias as well. You can check transmit bias, power, receive bias. You can check. These are the commands. And
is there any command where we can check the GPS voltage or GPS alarm troubleshooting?
GPS is that's what I showed you. Show GNS status. This will show whether your GPS is connected or not.
No, connection is okay, but what voltage we are getting?
Voltage,
Means
there is no such visibility in GPS. I think you have to check some. There should be some other device to check the GPS voltage.
okay.
Can you explain about the accuracy values? What is the limit for this?
Accuracy values, if GPS or GNS has to be valid, I think it should have minimum show satellite status you can use. So here you should have at least 6 satellites having a noise ratio of greater than 39 dBHz. So
And
that's
this altitude is showing in the centimeter, meter or something. Can you go upside?
Yes.
Yeah, there is altitude like a parameter. Is this in meter or something different?
I'll get you the information.
Okay.
In what meter it is shown, what scale it is measured. I'll get you the guide.
Okay.
Okay. And MAC learning. So if you want to check the MAC address, you can use show MAC address bridge1, because bridge1 is the domain which is used. So you can check what are the different VLANs, what are the MAC address it is run via VLANs, and for how long the MAC address has been valid. You can check this command. And this is just basic interface status check and link aggregation switch. This you can check. And
can you go back to the previous screen, please? MAC learning status.
Yeah.
Here VLAN CLAN 600 is shown as in use 18 minutes. Again, below 600, it is showing one more MAC 3 minutes. How do we, distinguish? It is same VLAN and different LAN. Can you explain that?
This depends under a condition wherein see VLAN 600 it can receive multiple MAC address, right? It doesn't necessarily have to be just I will learn one MAC address, correct? Depending on the configuration.
No, I think whatever on the other port MAC we are getting, it will communicate through a port 1 every time to a STU interface VLAN. So whatever MAC is coming on 605, 606, 715 and 750, all MAC will be reflect on the 600.
Yes.
So that's why there is a difference of the time. Suppose 715 MAC, see, there is a 715 MAC CADD, which is from the 1 minute.
This one?
There is a C8DD, 3 minute.
Oh, okay. Oh, yes, okay.
So here it is up in the 715 also. There is a 1 minute. Go downside 715, same MAC.
Yeah, of course. See, supposing let's say it is it may be a scenario in presenting the slide. So it may be a scenario wherein you have connected this if this port on the STU, if it is assigned to VLAN 600, and the same port if it is assigned to your configured VLAN 700, obviously that MAC address is going to be learned for VLAN 600 as well as 700, right? Because as per the interface configuration, that will get listed in both VLANs. If you have used only 600, then that one particular unique MAC address is going to be learned only on the MAC address 600.
Basically, it depends on the how many VLAN we are passing on the interface or port.
You're right. You're right. So you can see here, if you have configured these many VLANs on ETH1, so obviously the same device will reflect on all the VLANs. It can be tagged on all the VLANs, the same MAC address.
That I understood, but the confusing part, if it is a management VLAN and I have some site related outage and fluctuation.
Sorry, I can't hear you well.
I should be able to figure out which MAC and why it is only 3
No,
minutes.
your voice is slow. I can't hear you well. Hello.
Yeah, what I mean, if when we troubleshoot from field point of view, if at all any MAC is land or there is a fluctuation in debugging time, there will be a lot of questions asked from field. So
Okay.
I just want to know what are these differences? Why these many MACs are there when we have only 3 radio units and one RIU?
Sorry, I didn't get your question. Why these many MACs are there? That I told you the reason why these many MACs are present.
Yes,
So you meant to say unique MACs or different MACs?
different MACs in 600 VLAN.
The 600 VLAN is used on different ports. See, we have VTH3, we have 600. So 600 VLAN is used on different ports. So obviously you will get the VLAN MAC address tagged.
But we are not using all ports, right? Only 5G is operational.
Okay, I got your question. So your reason is on ETH 10/1. Why I am learning so many MAC address for this from this interface? Is that your question? For a particular ETH interface.
Vinod, can you run that command show MAC address table only, so that it will include all MAC learning over the all port?
Show MAC address table will not execute because these are part of a bridge domain. So this entire VLAN is part of a bridge domain. So this bridge domain is mapped to these VLANs. So it's a bridge domain.
Okay, which one?
Under this bridge domain, these many VLANs are present. So if I create another bridge domain, bridge 2, and I can assign, create multiple VLANs over that bridge domain.
The question is C8DD is MAC length in VLAN 600, and C4DD also length in the same. So where does this MACs are connected with the devices?
C8DD, C4DD.
Yes, you are right.
Just a second. I'll see what device is it. These are all interface of the TAR, NR TAR.
But NRTAR is connected with single port, right? So there should be a single port.
Maybe if you have a look at SysO configuration, I can tell you how it is done.
Okay, if relevant data not available, then we can discuss one more time. Let's move ahead, please.
Yes, because it depends on the scenario. Supposing if I have if I use a sub-visual interface, then it might be different on the top. I can learn different MAC address as well. Correct. On the TAR side. On the TAR side, if I use a sub-interface, if I use a physical interface, if I use a sub-interface, then that MAC address also can be learned via same VLAN.
See, generally we will see in TOR 3 VLANs, okay, and 3 different MAC IDs, but incremental of last digit only. Each VLAN will have one MAC ID, only 3. So if we are figuring out same MACs, but here it is different. When you see, it is incremental of not last digit. It is something different. Macs are learning in same VLAN. That's why the question has come up.
So I think Vinod Chopasan is trying to ask a question like, suppose if there is 715 device is landing on the port on STU, okay, then where these are connecting, which means where these are connecting, it should be come. Suppose if it is connecting with the port 3, 4, 5 or other port, right? Then it should be come with the specific VLAN, because here these are the uplink VLAN, right? Correct, because these will be learning over the TOR also. Suppose one is your uplink connection, okay? One is going to connect on the frontal TOR, but there will be some device on the STU port which are going to connect. They will have some specific VLAN. Suppose 5G RU is going to connect to a STU.
Yes.
Right. So they means they'll the for them VLAN should be learned on the different port first. Then it should be show on the Ethernet 01. Correct?
No, as I said, this is a bridge domain. and the bridge domain is mapped to this particular interface. Let me show you the configuration.
So that is the question of Chopasan, because how can we differentiate, like this will be belong to this one?
I got your question. So let me repeat your question. Let's say if it is port 3, port 4, port 5, port 6, and if I use show MAC address table, then the sub6 should learn via port 3 and this RRH should learn via port 4. Millimeter wave should, that MAC address should be present instead of ETH1/0/1.
Correct.
Is that the question?
Correct.
Yes. So as I said, this is a bridge domain. So the bridge domain concept is different. And if you are using bridge domain between STU and NRTAR, so the VLAN, the VLAN translation or the VLAN, traffic which actually goes through the bridge domain are listed here using port, because ETH0/1 is the uplink port between the STU and TAR. Maybe I'll get a brief explanation after checking the TAR configuration, why it is listing all under single bridge domain.
Sure, because
Maybe
here we cannot distinguish, like suppose out of 3, if one VLAN is not coming, right, then we will be unable to identify on which port we need to troubleshoot on the STU. Correct?
This port.
Can you open the diagram, just which you were showing?
Yes.
Yeah, this one. Suppose there is a split 2 where 5G millimeter wave RU plus DU are going to connect. Correct?
Okay.
Third diagram. Third or second one you can check. Left side. Left side. Left side. Yeah, this. No. This one. Yeah. Yellow, blue one, and green one. Okay. So there will be 3 meg of the RU. Correct?
Correct.
So if there will be one port is not working, then how can we distinguish like which port is not working?
You can check the interface status, right? Which port is not working. That will show you whether the port is up or not. Correct. And you can find whether that particular MAC address is being learned on that interface or not.
So on the interfaces, we can check the VLAN status also. There are no MAC, right?
There are no MAC, but there is another command.
MAC address table.
That's a valid question.
Yeah, that's why we are asking that.
Yeah. Maybe I need to check other STUs as well, whether if this is the current version or not. But let me do a lab test scenario as per you, and let me get you clarified on this particular.
Sure. You can continue.
I will just note. I'll get that clarified, but let me clear because this might be old MAC address. Let me clear the MAC table. Let me learn it again. Okay, your question is noted. I'll get you the clarification in my next call. Why why it doesn't list on the other interface ports here, and why this particular ETH1/01 interface is listed. I think probably it is because of
Vinod, is it now connected any sub-6 or any MMW to this this switch?
just a second. No, I don't think so. No, none of the sub-6
Not
is
connected, right? Is it
not.
so that Mac is it's not flushed, right? Maybe like that.
Mac is flush, but it is still learning mini MAC address from the Cisco side. Just a moment. Let me check the MAC lookup. This is Cisco. This is Cisco. This is also Cisco. This is not Cisco. I might need to look at the TAR configuration and check why I'm receiving so many MAC address on this interface.
So basically, if the other devices are connected, that Mac should be learned on that port. But
no, your question is logical, because if ETH0/3 or 0/5, if it has ports connected, then definitely that ETH0/3 should reflect here.
correct.
But here there are no such device connected. But
Yeah, that need to be addressed.
ETH0/1/1, I'm receiving so many MAC address even when I clear the MAC address table. This I can check after. I'm not sure of which topology is being used. Probably based on the topology, I can let you know why these many MAC addresses are learned, and I'll answer you the question probably at a later point of time. But I have noted down the question. Your question is valid, but at this point of time, I cannot give you an appropriate answer without checking the TAR config. So I'll get you the logic behind this, why it is used.
Sure, thanks, Vinod.
And thanks for raising that question. Sure. And these alarms are, which I've already explained: rectifier, AC input, battery failure, and battery exchange signal.
We know,
you can
sorry
use-
to interrupt in between. If these alarms are present, external alarms like rectifier failure, but, these alarms integrated with foresight at the moment?
Akshay can answer that.
So they will be
I
reflect
think,
after the 1D, Subhasan. If
Sorry?
1D has been done, then it will be reflect, of course, on the foresights.
Okay. Anyone from monitoring team confirm the same, if possible, now, later?
So I think there is no any person from the monitoring team.
No, there are a lot of members joined later. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, Vinay, we can move on.
Okay. So same status you can check. This is Syncy alarm. So to detect any Syncy clock, I'll go through this later. And this is the GNS and PTP server start. I'll go through this alarms later. And this is oscillator and PI fault.
And there is one question, Vinod-san. What is the holdover time period for this STU?
Holdover period for STU, I think we have shared a PPT and there it is given holdover time. Exactly. It has been shared with the depends on the oscillator time. I don't remember quite, but just a second.
Actually, we wanted to know both, like PTP holdover time and as well as GPS holdover time.
It is in nanoseconds, but
no, it should not be in nano. It should be in days.
Oh, okay.
See, there is a 4
this
hours
is this,
later
yeah.
24.
No, it is when you lost a GPS signal. So the time will
we were asking holdover time, right?
Yes. For 4 hour time, it is measured.
Okay.
So these are the measured nanosecond values. Which are
so this is upper one for the GPS and lower one for the PTP.
Yeah, boundary clock and sync key.
Okay, got it.
I think so. So I will share this holdover time. I think these details are already shared with your team. So I didn't.
No, I think we are from the TI team, and I think Narinder Chopasan from the SXC team. So we all are different persons. So we never got this PPT or these details.
Because so in Dazan also there are different things, because if you have many questions related to clocking, probably the clock experts are there. So they can explain you all the queries related to the clock expert, like PTP, failover, and other stuff. So depending on that, we can arrange you whatever questions. But as far as I know, these are the values which are tested by the lab, and I can share you this once the session is over.
Okay, sure.
And GNS alarms, I think we have already shared. So show GNS status and show satellite status. As I said, if you have a GPS alarm and if you want to check the stability of the GPS, you have to check at least there should be 6 satellites, which a noise ratio of 36 dBhertz, which should be received from the GPS in order for a stable GPS connection. And you can just check the show system clock. So in show system clock, this will show you the holdover timeout. What is the GNS? What are the mode? What is the RIU state? This is the source state. What kind of quality level which is used? And this is GPS, sync key, PTE, and this is int is for oscillator. So which is, so depending on the priority, right now it will choose the clock sequence. So right now priority is 128 for GPS. That means the primary clock source is GPS here. If you want to switch between GPS and sync key, you have to change the priority. So this is a PTP question. So if you have any questions, please let me know. I'll note it down and I'll involve
Can
the
you
clock.
differentiate the priority and GNS? Everything is on. Which one is selected? How it is selected?
Based
ETH.
on based on the priority only it is selected. Everything will be on, obviously, because we are receiving GPS signal. PTP we are receiving, and Sync also we are receiving.
But
So
here showing PTP is disabled, right? So we are using only 2 right now.
Where it is disabled?
The enable disable, right?
Okay.
We are not using PTP right now, so we are using only backup sync and the GNS.
GNS, sorry, yes.
Yeah.
GNS and enable GNS and Sync, right?
Correct.
So if you want to fail over Sync, there is a command. There is a command to change the failover state. Here you can see here.
So here we can change the priority, right?
Here you can change the priority failover, and it will change the behavior of the STU.
Okay.
Supposing, let's say, if you have no GPS signal, you have no GPS signal on the tower side, you want to change the tower side you want to receive the clock from the tower side. And in that case, you can change the priority here and make this PTP as a slave port and the tower side as a PTP master port. In that case, that will be a failover of the clock from the GPS to the tower side.
So any specific configuration will be required to enable that PTP, or just enable this function PTP enable and it will be done?
PTP enable is okay, and you have to just change the priority. You have to change the priority here, and then from the STU side, you have to just change the priority because you are going to use PTP enable. That's it.
So no any IP will be configured, right? IPv4 or IPv6, primary IP or the slave IP.
Primary IP and slave IP, no.
Okay.
And these are the different scenarios which are captured. So when there is a GPS failure, how to detect? As you can see here, when there is a GPS failure, you have GPS unlock, and so GNS status will show you issue here not fixed. So this is the abnormal status. And this is the normal status of the GPS, which I've showed you. Show satellite, this is the LT. So carrier to noise ratio is something which should be beyond 36 dB hertz. And like this, you should have 6 satellites with the value of greater than 36 dB hertz. So when you have such a condition, then you will have the GPS signal to be in lock state. If not, it will be on lock state. So whatever I've explained it is documented in the same. So here, this is oscillator, PTP, Sync, GNS. The status state here, it is locked because the GNS is locked here.
Okay, when I change GNS to PTP, does the activity will go on service affecting or non-service affecting?
It will not be affected because already an internal oscillator, we have the internal oscillator. So it will be less than micro nanoseconds. So it will not be of much effect, provided you receive the GPS signal or the clock from the other source.
Is it tested in Kbal or
Yeah, it is tested in Kibale.
so there won't be any outage of STU, right?
Correct. And I think this holdover report is already it's shown here, wherein what is the failover time. So if the GPS is failing, it will be the oscillator which warms up, and the oscillator will provide its own clocking source.
Okay, let me explain why I asked. At the moment, whenever we change the PTP to GNS in other traditional network, I mean 4G network with RIU and parental tolerance split, so we have outage and we need to reboot, VCU as well. Or VDU as
Under which scenario here? So what is the clock source of both tower?
clock source existing will be GPS, and we switch to PTP. That time we have outage. So in STU, how it is,
STU, when you lose GPS, then either you can do a PTP failover, or internal oscillator will itself will trigger and will provide the clock source signal. Are you getting my point?
that switching over is okay, but I think I can't able to explain properly. Puspendra, are you there? Puspendra? Okay, I think he's not there. Okay,
And
assume that
also,
there won't be any resetting activity.
it is tested in Kiba because I only tested it in lab. When you lose the GPS signal, automatically it will receive the sync key, and sync key will be up, and sync key will, and the PTP tower will act as a boundary clock, and the tower will get the GPS signal from other master port. So tower will decide. Supposing if I have 3 STUs connected, and the 3 STUs connected to a single tower, and the tower will decide, depending on the PTP priority, which clock source I am going to send it to this STU. So if a particular STU loses GPS connection, then the second STU GPS will be the master source, and it will provide the master PTP. It will provide the PTP clocking services to this STU, and this STU will become a slave port, PTP slave port. That's how it works. And it happens within a fraction of a second, and there will be no service disruption because we have already tested it in Kiba.
Okay, no configuration changes in RIU.
Configuration changes, RIU I cannot comment. Only related to STU I can define.
No, I mean, when you change in Kiba, you have shifted and the traffic is through, right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Because RIU behavior or the other behavior.
Now,
I'm
my
not sure.
understanding. So while doing your testing
But
part,
if VDU will reboot if the length of the time is more.
okay.
If you lose connectivity, then VDU will reboot automatically because you're during that switching time. That usually happens.
Okay.
Or either you will receive, if there is inconsistency, if it is taking more time to receive the PTP to switch the clock source signal, then the ORU, sometimes in 5G lab we have tested where ORU had rebooted, VDU had rebooted. Sometimes we receive too early packets, and sometimes we receive too late packets. That inconsistency will be present, but as a such, the service will not go down abruptly, or the ST will not go down.
Thank you.
So the PTP port, how do you check the PTP port here? Status. Sorry. So this will show you different state, whether this is a PTP port. This is PTP master. This is PTP master. So whichever port, this is PTP master because the clock state is the state of the GNS is valid and it is locked. So this is providing clock sequence to other. So this is PTP master. And the priority, which we have already checked, is 128. And these are the different PTP messages. What is the announce message, receipt, delay message, delay request interval. So these are the counts which are received on that particular port.
When we switch to GNS to PTP or Sync, what could be the status of port state of ETH0/1? Is
So
it
supposing,
remain?
let's say, if you lose the GPS signal here, then this is going to be, you are going to, and the TAR decides that I'm going to provide clock, I'm going to be the clock source for this STU. Then this change becomes PTP master slave, because this receives the clock signal from the TAR side.
Thank you.
Vinod, I have a
Yeah.
couple of questions.
Yeah.
Like you have shown that it was already disabled. So if it is disabled, also it will going to lock on PTP.
See, PTP, it's shown disabled because this is not a boundary clock.
Mhm.
So don't confuse with the boundary clock. So don't confuse this with boundary clock and other settings. PTP will be always enabled on this STU because the main purpose of STU is this is a clocking device come switching device. That is
Okay.
why we are using STU.
Mhm.
This PTP it is disabled because this can be used as a boundary clock as well. It need not necessarily be the primary grandmaster alone. It can need not be the grandmaster alone, which is providing GPS signal to other setters. It can be a boundary clock. It can be used as an transboundary clock as well. But PTP is always enabled. So if you go through the configuration, so you can see here. So what kind of PTP profile which is used and what kind of transmode mechanism it is used. So it is a PTP clock which is enabled. This is the Ethernet mechanism and the clock profile is .1 and .2 because it uses both 4G and 5G.
Okay. So if a GPS gone for a toss, go faulty, it will automatically go to the PTP clock, correct?
No, PTP will be defaultly enabled. So which PTP timing source it is going to pick up, it depends on the TAR. Because there is a scenario. Let's say TAR. Let's say you have TAR, you have one STU. So all three are connected. Okay, and each has its own GPS.
Mm.
Each has its own GPS. Okay, and this port is going to be the master port. This will be three different interfaces. I'm just putting for
Okay.
understanding purpose. And let's say if this GPS is down, let's say it has lost GPS, then obviously TAR will decide what to do. So tar will decide based on the configuration on the tar side. It will say STU will be the master source. I will provide master source. This will be the master clock, and this will provide so clocking sequence to this STU. And this port obviously will become slave port. And this will become master port. There will be a change.
Understood.
And it on the tar side, it will be slave port, master port, slave port, master port for this, because these are valid GPS signal. And this will be slave port because the tar has decided that I am going to provide clocking signal to this STU because this doesn't have a valid GPS.
Mhm.
So there is no instability in the Rakuten lab as such. So there
Okay,
is
so this is called this is like PTP coming from GPS to is coming to PTP, right?
yeah,
This
yeah.
process. Okay.
Yes.
So it will be auto, right?
It will be auto. You don't need any configuration.
So currently, what we are if the GPS going faulty, we are manually transferring the site from GPS to PTP. And
Yeah.
the other question is like how much time it will take to shift from GPS to PTP settings.
That I already shared the PPT. I will share you the PPT. How much time it take with accurate data.
Getting sync that site need to be synced with the PTP clock. So is maybe there will be some time to get synced with that.
I will give you the reference time because
Okay.
those scenarios are already tested in Kiba Lab and we have captured the timing, how much it takes, what are the failover scenarios. But in this scenario, when you have an issue with GPS on one particular STU, so the tar decides. So this is how it happens. You do not change anything manually because these are all auto.
Got it. Thank you.
Aman, we have exceeded the timing, 5 o'clock. I have another call. So can we continue for a second session tomorrow?
Yeah, please keep it. We will have record this session. And on the other hand, can you share this PDF or PPT for the PTP and this training module?
Okay. Sure, I will share the PPT. And if you have any questions, do let me know the topics so that I will get the right person.
So, we have some general question which we are getting during the integration, right? So first question is we are getting like STU is in instantiated mode, but still host name does not get update in the STU. So if you can provide the command line like so our engineer can do itself and it will be like it will be saving time for us also.
So in RCP it says instantiated, but host name is not reflected in the
correct.
STU.
Sometime NTP IP is not getting update on the STU, so sometimes we are configuring, we are doing the configuration in the STU as a manual.
Okay, I'll check that. Okay.
And device registration is getting failed during the STU instantiation.
Okay, this is something which is okay.
And our engineer are there. If someone have some query, please feel free to ask, or you can share your question here so that they can answer on the next session.
Sorry, I was given guidance by Dasan only to run through this document, but I went out of syllabus, I would say. And,
we need out of syllabus queries.
No, Vinod, that is not my mean. Here I am asking to our engineer if they have any questions so that Vinod can write their question and they can share the resolution for that in the
Yeah,
next.
as discussed, while starting the session, we need, testing procedure of each VLAN data traffic or, management traffic. How do we ping VLANs from STU?
Data procedure for VLAN. So pinging XTU is simple. Ping IPv6 you can use.
No, IPv6 is okay, but I want to go through VLAN, not in a general format.
You can do a trace route, right? To check the trace.
No, there is a lot of difference. Let me tell you. If I ping RIU or a radio unit, it will go in a management path, but I
Correct.
want to use a data path.
Okay, data path is something which so STU is used as a switching device only. So if you want to go through the data plane, I don't think presently it can be done
Please,
in
please
Kipa.
check with the team members and
Yeah, but it requires. So to be honest, I've done multiple tests in Kiba, and before coming to production, we deploy and test in Kiba. The problem is sometimes when we do a test, it depends. It not only depends on the STU configuration, but it also depends on the TOR side and the AG routing, or now the VLAN is being transmitted. So looking at the configuration of the STU alone, you can't presume how a network is designed, to be honest. You need to have TOR, you need to know TOR configuration, STU, and also AG routing in order to understand the complete network.
Yeah, let me put forward why I have asked that. Recently, we came across a problem where a TOR port is connected to STU is healthy and operational, no disturbance in that. And suddenly, all of a sudden, I can't able to see VLAN 500 and 600 in the TOR MAC landings. Only 520 is land. For that, we don't have RCA at the moment. Okay, if I know how to ping, how to test a VLAN 600 or 500, then I could have been done better, troubleshooting or the members. So that's why we want to test VLAN, data path layer from the STU.
So let's say if VLAN 715 is being used for a particular subsec, so you want to do an end-to-end testing over that particular data VLAN till
Yes,
AG or beyond.
yes, yes. Till core to see one way I will test I'll ping core IP in the same VLAN. The other way I'll ping RIU side with the same VLAN from STU. So if both the sides are there is no packet drop, no issues, then I will confirm that the data layer is perfect, no issue.
You're right. Your question is very valid, but my from Dasan perspective, I can change the configuration of STU, but I don't know what is the configuration on the TOR side, how it is configured. So even when I allow 715 over my data VLAN, I don't think you will be able to do a complete trace, but whatever that is within the limit of STU, I'll be able to explain. But
So
complete
the
end-to-end, I
intention
cannot
is
guarantee.
very clear. I want to confirm that the STU is okay and there is no issue in till STU. And STU above, that means frontal TOR to VDU or VCU, that layer someone else will verify, not related to STU. So while confirming STU healthy status, I will check this VLAN ping status also on data layer and then as well as management layer, and I confirm there is no issue, because these packet data path layer issues are huge sometimes. At the moment these are got reduced, but whenever there is a such scenario, we have to test it.
Okay, I'll get you with the logic of how an STU uses. I will see whether if there is any possible deployment model in Kiba for you to test. I'll also provide you some lab access, but I need some time. because we had very less time for this preparation. As I said earlier, I was restricted only to this, run through this document, but your requirement is different. I'll discuss this with the management, Nagendra and Aman separately. And please post your queries or send me any doubts. My mail ID is so you can send your queries to my mail ID. So I will collate all details and possible and work with internally and give you the information, whatever it is required for your testing. Okay.
Okay, thanks, Vinod.